See this? Pro. See this? Pro. See this? Not pro. It's true. Arctic has gone pro. But what exactly does pro mean? What exactly do we get more? Because actually the pricing is the same. So we're getting pro for the non-pro price. Is that what we're saying? And this is one of the best coolers that you can get. And now it's pro. It's gone even better. Can this 240mm cooler keep up with something like the Core Ultra 9? And how far can we push it? Because if you're a creator, some of these questions actually matter to you. Let's go. It's so annoying. I don't want to pay hundreds of dollars to just change my Windows wallpaper just because my Windows isn't licensed. Well, why don't you try Hookies? That's a ton cheaper. And if you use the code TN20, you get it even cheaper. What do you mean? How do I get it and how is it possible? Well, see this video here, or the one you're watching. Click in the link on the video description, add the Windows 11 CD product to the cart, proceed to checkout, add the code TN20 for the extra discount. So what, the Windows 11 Pro OEM key is just $23.22? Yeah. Choose the preferred payment option and complete the purchase. The key will be available on the purchased orders in a few moments. Copy the key and paste it into your Windows activation settings and you're all done. Oh, that was easy. Is that Ryan Gosling? No. Anyway, by the way, the same discount code also works website-wide, so go check out other products. Maybe like Microsoft Office. Inside, you've got the radiator, and the cool thing is, there's no installing the fans. Boom, the fans are already installed. Then, on top of that, we get the block cover, which actually is the VRM fans as well. So there's a fan inside there that moves around and that cools the VRMs, which I'm super happy about. And I really like the matte black versions. I've got the Unicorn 1 version as well. So you do have already a contact frame for Intel. And I don't know if this is for the Core Ultra series as well. It is. Look at that, 2851. The value just went up even further. And then here we have all the accessories and MX6 thermal paste. We're gonna get that installed in a minute. And then I just want to take out the 360mm version as well. As you can see, the top cover is different. I prefer the black one. I'm not sure about you. And this over here is the previous best cooler that was possible. And I'm just curious what exactly changed between the Pro and non-Pro fans. On the top, we have the non-Pro version, the previous version, but don't get too confused because the middle is 140mm fans and then on the sides we have 120mm, so that's slightly different. But here we can actually see the difference, perhaps coming from the top. This is where we see the biggest difference. We can see that the previous one had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blades, whereas the newer one has 2, 4, 6, 7. So we've got extra 2 blades. What does that allow us to do is, as you can see, there's less space in between where you can see the bottom frame. So as you can see, it covers it a lot more, meaning that you have better static pressure, which is what we've seen with even the Noctua's newer fans. Remember the G2? We have similar thing where if you look at them from the top, the actual area that you see just through the fan is a lot smaller than the previous generation. So the fans have changed. Interestingly though, if you look at the middle, look how small the motor was in there. But now the motor is a lot bigger, which basically means that the area has gone smaller. Obviously with 140 and 120mm, it's slightly different, but we can measure the middle motor diameter, which is 41mm, and now the bigger one has 51. So we've gained extra 10mm in the middle, which I'm not sure if that is better, but there we go. So basically what the Pro means is we've got a new fan design, the RGB and the non-RGB. That one makes it Pro. So basically those fans are just better static pressure, push it through. And if you look at Arctic's website, you can really see that they do make quite a big of a difference. The previous one is on the black, much higher. The newer one is a few degrees better. So that's why Noctua also changes the fans and keeps improving the fans, because even if the rest of the stuff on your cooler is exactly the same, changing the fans will improve your cooling. It comes with different offset mounting for Intel and AMD, just because the CPU die, or the cold or hot spot on the CPU, they're in different places. So in order to align the cooler best with the cooler, it comes with different offsets. So that's what I want to test out. But now I know that basically our cooler has improved fans. That's all I wanted to know. And I think I want to see if the fan thickness actually changed as well. Yeah, look at that. The previous ones are 27 millimeters. I thought the previous one looks a little bit deeper, 27 millimeters. Yet the new one, 25. So they've shaved it in size as well to make it more compatible, not as thick. That's very, very interesting. I want to see the 240 millimeter one in work. So we're going to get that installed. And I've got the test bench just over there. Okay, the installation here is slightly different. Now, obviously I've got CPU installed, but if you don't, it works exactly the same. Let's pretend this is not a CPU, but you do have to get the CPU that you want to be put in. So this is the Core Ultra 9 285K. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to put the new CPU in, okay? And then now, make sure that you've got something underneath on the back of the motherboard so that the backing bracket basically doesn't come off. And then you have to have this Torx screwdriver. And then we just take this ILM off. I can already see that mine drops down a little bit, which is not ideal. So I just told you something that I did that you shouldn't do. And then make sure that this little triangle matches up in that place over there. So basically, you want to make sure that this goes down very, very evenly. Get all the screws going. Make sure that they're biting. And then tighten it down from each corner. Take your time with this, because if you don't do this part properly, you might not get a post at all because the CPU pins are not perfectly lined up. Now, the good side of this is your CPU will be protected, so you're not gonna have any issues in terms of bending the CPU over time, because it's much better than the integrated one that only has pressure on the sides. The downside is if you do need to change your CPU, it's not as easy as just swapping it out and putting it back in. Now, it's time for thermal paste, but because I have got a very high-end CPU here and I've used it before, I'm gonna actually clean it. And you might wanna do the same even if you're installing this for the first time. Just have a little bit of alcohol, put it on a cloth. Basically, I'm just cleaning that from any residue, any oils, finger greases, anything that might have been there. Now it gets cleaned up, and look at that. Look what was on the CPU. That is not supposed to be there. We're gonna take this thermal paste, MX6, and basically Arcitc is saying that do an X on it. Well, let's try this. I'm putting little dots on these in between as well. You don't really have to, but. So X was recommended, dots are my addition. Okay, so this goes on that way. So the tube's down, if that makes sense. Make sure we remove this. Okay, that lines up on both sides. I like that the construction is very much metal. And even though it's got plastic around, there's metal on the top that keeps it down. If you remember what happened with our Be Quiet Silent Loop 3, which I was a big fan of. You just tighten every screw. Now what we need to do is actually choose which cable we want to use, because there's two. You either want to have just a single cable. So basically you put this on the side of this block, and that takes the pump, the VRM header that blows down on there, and then the fan headers on the radiator all into one header, and then allows you to control, or the one that separates. So if you do want to tune the pump and the fan and the radiator pump, like the VRM header all separately, you can do it that way. I'm just going to go with the simple way, because I think most people are going to go that way. Just plug it in, plug it in, see what happens. Okay, we're going to put this into CPU fan header. You have to peel this off as well. And then this fan header just goes there magnetically, and then boom. let's connect it up and then start testing it. Okay, I guess we're gonna be turning on. Okay, stuff's happening. So what's the keyboard we're gonna be using? We're gonna use McChose. This is Unbox Therapy version of this. Really nice keyboard. Let me turn it on as well. Boom. And then world's most luxurious mouse with TechNotice personalization on the side. In terms of other hardware, obviously we're using the 240mm Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 Pro. We've got Aero D from Gigabyte. This is the Z890, one of the best motherboards for creators to use. Absolutely amazing. Bells and whistles, go check out the video on the channel. We've got Intel Core Ultra 9 285K as the CPU, and then we've got Corsair Vengeance RGB, but these are the CU DIMMs, so there's 48 gigabytes, and I think these go 8,000 megahertz. Let's take a look. What are we on right now? So memory, yep, running them at 8,000 megahertz. So I guess what we want to do now then is let's check out if the cooling is good or bad. Let's try this first, see what happens. Okay, what we're pulling here, 240 watts, what, 73 degrees. That's fantastic. Inside this room, there's 22.9 degrees. I mean, these can go quite fast actually. Not just more blades, but actually faster as well. It shifts through quite a lot of air, and even the 240mm rad is kind of enough. I mean, would you look at that? Just pulling 240 something watts. As you can see, PL2, PL1 are 250 watts. So it's the boost profile. Doesn't seem to have any issues here. I know I've got the 10 minutes on. I'm gonna stop this because I want to do a single test, see how far we can get, because I can see the previous test we can get is 240, 2,475 roughly. So I'm just going to do a single multi-core test. And if you look at it, it doesn't actually pull 250 watts. It thinks that it can achieve those clock speeds at 242. Look at the max temps we've got in any core is 80 degrees. That's seriously impressive for something like that. So I have a feeling that there's a little bit more in store what we can do. I just want to get this score done and then see what happens. I think we're going to go higher than 2475. Oh, 2455. Okay, that was impressive. And here's what I want to do. Let's unlock this CPU, see how much power we can get and if it can cool it even higher. Because these fans don't need to be that loud. The fan curves are very, very conservative, meaning they just push it a lot louder. We're only 80 degrees maximum on our cores. There's more in store. So now I've adjusted the PL1 and PL2 limits to 300 watts. Let's do exactly the same thing. Let's see what happens if this guy can keep up with 300 watts. Boom, let's go. Interestingly, it hasn't changed anything. So PL1 and PL2 limits actually don't change anything here because it's still pulling 240 something watts. I think we might have to take the boost profile off and then let the motherboard optimize and then just see what happens that way. So let's go to the BIOS. Let's try Unleash. So this is the Unleashed mode, okay? And one of the things that you can see is PL1 and PL2 limits are 4,000 watts, the 4 kilowatts, okay? Basically it's saying like, just see what happens, just pull as much as you want, right? Bob's your uncle, let me see what you can do. So basically let's start this multi-core and then pull this up. How much are we pulling now? How much are we pushing? Still 200 and I mean, we're pulling even less. So that means 242, 230. This is fascinating. I want to see what happens right now, because that is basically the motherboard trying to optimize. So now Intel and the motherboard, like Intel and Gigabyte, are fighting because Intel's saying, we want you to use these settings. And then Gigabyte is saying, we also have some settings that we think are going to work best for your CPU. So let's see which gets better score. Do you remember 2455 was the score on Intel settings? Now this is Gigabyte's turn. Let's see what happens. On the load, our voltage is 1.185, which is pretty conservative. So if we fix the voltage at 1.2 and then try to overclock a little bit, we'd probably get even better. I mean, we could get quite a bit higher scores, but we'll see what the temperature is going to do. This was lower right now, but I think there's still quite a lot in store. So here's what we're gonna try to do now is raise some of these clock speeds. Okay, we peaked at 90 degrees now. How much? Well, 2 degrees warmer, bear in mind. Maybe 3 degrees warmer. So what we're gonna do now is the active scores. But basically what we've done is 2 of the P cores have gone from 5.7 to 5.8, and then the rest of the P cores have gone from 5.6 to 5.7, and then all the E cores have gone from 4.6 to 4.9. I guess we'll see what happens now. Interestingly, it's still not pushing necessarily that much more wattage out, because you can still maintain some of these higher clock speeds. Let's have a look. It's still going 4.6 on the E cores. I'm not an XTU professional. Yeah, look, it's trying to run them all at 4.7, some of them 4.9, but not 4.6 anymore. Let's see the final score. Interestingly, we still haven't reached what we get with the boost profile. So Intel's profiles are actually very, very good. And even with like overclocking, we're not getting that much, but I feel like there's still so much more in store. So let's clock all of these to 6 gigahertz. And let's put all of these to 5.1 gigahertz in there. Okay, let's see if we crash. Can we apply these? Okay, I think we crashed. Or did we? Did we not? I think XTU has crashed. So I cooked the overclock. I'm not an overclocker, okay? So this unleash button is there. Interestingly, I wonder what spec enhance and optimization and unleash, what all of these mean. Max performance profile. Well, CPU upgrade, go on then. XMP, yeah, well, that's for sure, isn't it? Let's see if we can pull any more power. Okay, as you can see, we're still kind of unlimited there. I think there must be some kind of issue when I'm just putting the boost power window. Oh no, look at this. When you change the power window, this goes to 1 watts. That was the problem. Okay, now we go. Turbo boost. Everything is unlimited there. And I think we just want to 6 gigahertz. Yes, please. 5.1. Come on, give us more than 250 watts. Okay. 280 watts. Clock speed's not necessarily impressive. Let's see what XTU shows us here. Okay, they're all going 4.7 there. Let's go 5.1. I'll just apply. Yeah, that's why I shouldn't be the overclocker, but there's professionals for that. Anyway, what can I tell about this cooler? No matter how much I'm trying to push this 285K, 284 watts, 300 watts, it just keeps up with it, and it's absolutely solid. It actually brings me to a question: do we need more than 240 millimeters of radiator? Because this cooler is crazy good. And if you do want to check it out, there's links in the description below, because it's just crazy. If you do want to support the channel, hit that like button. It actually makes a difference. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.